We are back this morning with Josh Horn with Social Security. If you want to ask him a question, join in the conversation, 737-7587. He's here to help you. So give a call if you're dealing with some issue with this, and it can be tricky to navigate. We've got some callers waited through the break, so let's rip through them. We're going to take calls till 9 o'clock, so you got plenty of time. Let's go to David. Hi, David.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
All right. Appreciate you taking my call. I have a question. It's about my disability. I just won my disability case back in May, and I just received my confirmation letter this past week, Friday, in the mail, and it's telling me that I was drawing workers' comp pay where I injured my back and had surgeries. Well, what it did, it dropped my disability pay almost 60+%. But it's saying my monthly income, I was drawing like $4,500, and I hadn't drawn anything in almost 2 years.
So, okay. So for some reason, they had records showing that you had been drawing money for the last 2 years when you were not.
Correct, and it dropped my pay almost $1,200 on my disability.
Sure.
So you received a lump sum for the workers' compensation?
No, what I was receiving weekly pay.
Okay.
And then it stopped back, it'll be 2 years this February, and I haven't received anything. And it was showing on my letter I received from the state, it showed that I was drawing, my monthly income was about $4,500, and it hadn't been anything.
The monthly or the yearly?
It says on here, let me get my letter right here.
Sure.
Can you bear with me 1 second?
Sure.
It says on here, we found 80% of your average current monthly earnings is $4,499. And it says below it, says we have to take into account your workers' compensation payment of $3,492 beginning January 2018. And we are reducing your benefits due to that.
Right. So a couple of things. Workers' compensation is one of the very few things that when it comes to Social Security there is an offset, and there's a couple of states out there that have different rules, but as far as Tennessee and the surrounding states, if you've got workers' compensation through one of those states, it's going to offset your Social Security just like you described. And how it offsets is all dependent on how the workers' compensation settlement is written up. And so depending on if the workers' compensation settlement is set up as a one-time lump sum that's supposed to be prorated through your whole life, or whether it's prorated through just a couple of years, or whether it's there's all kinds of different scenarios, and it all has to do with how it's written up. And so if you don't understand really what we need to see is a copy of your workers' compensation settlement, which we should have either gotten from you or from the state. So if there's some kind of discrepancy, that may be part of it. But there is usually a significant offset when there's workers' compensation involved, especially if it's not prorated over the whole life, over your whole life.
What it was doing, it was just paying me weekly, and it just ended.
Yeah, and so what happens a lot of time then is that once our records show that it's reached its end, then your benefits will go back up. So again, this could be talking about your retro pay too, because if you did you get approved at the judge's level?
I did. I did.
So that also could have to do more with what your back pay is going to be. Have you started your payments yet?
It actually, when I received this, it said I should start receiving them at the end of this month. I think when I talked to you before, it was the fourth. What did you say? The fourth week of the month is when you get paid.
If your birthday's towards the end of the month, that would be right.
It is.
Yeah. So again, now you can give us a call and we can pull your record up and be more specific with you about how much and when and how and what your record shows we've got for your workers' compensation, and how, because I don't have a computer in front of me, but that's what it sounds like to me, is that based on how it's written up, there's going to be a period of offset, and then eventually it will stop and you'll start getting your benefits, your entire benefit again.
So if it shows that I hadn't received anything in 2 years from them, should it pick up the time and prorate it back?
Yeah, I mean, I see his point is if he hasn't collected over 2 years and some reason the administration believes he has,
right,
that seems to me like, when you talk about once you get to the end of it, you kick back in. Well, he needs to correct that, because if he hasn't been paid in 2 years on that, that's going to affect his pay. And so he needs to make sure that there's not a misunderstanding there.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I think really in your situation, you need to give us a call and let us take a look at the record. I just kind of want you to be prepared that, again, how that's written up could possibly affect, you know, how it's paid out, especially depending on when you were found to be disabled, what your onset date was. There's a lot of factors.
It was paying back in 2014.
Yeah, exactly. And so let's take a look at that and try to get to the bottom of it. But yeah, workers' compensation is one of those things that can get real tricky real fast because every situation's a little bit different.
Is there a certain person I need to talk to, or when I call?
No, if the person who answers the phone can't help you, they'll refer you to somebody who can.
Okay. Thank you for your help.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you. That's you know, a good question. I mean, the bottom line on that is, you know, if he's being penalized for monies that he was not paid, and maybe Social Security just had the record that he was collecting it all this time as it was, which happens, just to make sure. But you're right. Also, maybe he's misreading it, and as you said, workers' comp is one thing that will offset it, right?
Yeah, and there for a while they were getting real good about setting the workers' compensation, especially if it's a lump sum. And it doesn't sound like he was a lump sum, but if it's set up as a lump sum, that it's going to be prorated for your whole life, which minimizes the impact on Social Security. And so, you know, that's something that I've seen pretty regular.
Okay, well, good for him though, finally getting the benefit. It's not as much right now. Hopefully it gets worked out, but he's probably looking forward to his first check coming at the end of this month, which is really cool. Good for you, David, for sticking with it, and I hope that works out. Make sure you get what you have coming to you. Let's go next to Todd. Hi, Todd.
Hi, good morning, Nick.
Good morning to you, sir.
Happy belated birthday.
Well, thank you very much.
I've got a quick question for Josh, and I talked to you all before about my Social Security, and thank the Lord, last month I went for my hearing, and they awarded my disability.
Well, congratulations. Good for you.
Thank you. My health has deteriorated very quickly. I'm probably 94 pounds. Oof. And I've been going through this for 5 years, and I had no income and no insurance, so I couldn't run any tests to find out what's wrong with me. But the judge, he actually, during the hearing, he awarded my disability there. And he, in the letter that my attorney sent, he tagged my case as dire need. And he thought we would hear something within 4 to 6 weeks. And I was going to ask Josh how quick, I'm more concerned with, and also the judge, instead of making me wait for my Medicaid or Medicare, he put that into effect immediately, and he also marked my case as dire need. And I would like to know from Josh if he has any idea how long that it would take me to get everything started to where I can get some tests run to find out what's wrong with me.
And have you received the paper decision in the mail yet?
No, sir, I haven't. Okay.
So a lot of the times the judges will say, hey, considering everything and all the evidence that I've got, I'm just going to go ahead and let you know now that you know, you're going to be approved for benefits. However, after he says that and the hearing's over, there's a back-end process that sometimes they forget to let you know of, that they have to go back and forth with the decision writers who actually write up the decision and put all the evidence in there and make it all formal, because it's a legal, you know, it's a legal document. And so that can take a while. In fact, usually in a normal circumstance, I would say that would take at least 4 to 6 weeks just for that part of it, and that's just kind of an average, before the notice gets sent to you and to the field office for processing. And now once it comes to the field office, the SSI usually, if you're looking at the SSI benefits, we have you come in, we have to update your record and get that money released to you. The rest of it goes to the payment center, and that takes usually another 4 to 6 weeks sometimes closer to 8 weeks to get the retroactive payments.
That's for a dire case. Look, I know you guys are busy, but Josh, that honestly is ridiculous. No, that is ridiculous.
And that's for an average case. Now, if he marked it as dire, that it should have.
What's the point of even having dire when you're waiting 8 months to get it? That is ridiculous.
Well, I'm just talking about this is an average case.
Well, that average is ridiculous.
A dire need situation, if he's marked it correctly, that you probably should have gotten a decision by then. So I don't know if you've got the number to somebody who was working on your case there at the hearings office, or you can give us a call at the field office, and we can make sure that your case has been marked dire need, because obviously in your situation we need to get you those benefits as soon as possible.
How long ago was it he did this, Todd?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry?
How long ago did he label this? Did the doctor sign off on it, or the judge?
He said that in the courtroom, that he was marking it as dire need, and I got a letter from my attorney. I went to court on the 26th.
Okay.
And I got a letter from my attorney on the 27th that he stated that he thought it would be 4 to 6 weeks, but the judge did tag my case as a dire need, and as soon as he receives that in the mail, he's going to, and I guess I'll receive a letter also, then we'll set up an appointment, or he will, my attorney, for me to come in and see him.
Okay, so this was just late last month that it finally went through. So you're still early on here. As Josh said, even if it's dire need, it's probably going to take a few weeks to get it. It's just hopefully it'll be faster than the other normal wait, do you know?
Yeah, and that's what the attorney stated in the letter. He marked that because it would be sooner. Because I think when the judge seen me in person, he knew I was in bad health, and.
Okay, so should he call then, or I don't know? I guess he needs to wait till he gets that letter, and maybe that'll come in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, but if you don't hear something within the next week or 10 days, you're welcome to give us a call. We can take a look, make sure it's marked as a dire need situation, explain your case. Sometimes we may get the letter before you, just based on mail time. So, because as soon as the judge makes the decision official and we have everything written out, you can come in and update your record then, and we can try to see about getting your payment started quickly.
Okay, well, I tell you, Josh, just to be honest, every time I've called, I cannot get a hold of no one. They put you on hold or want you to leave your name and number, and they'll get back with you, and it's really it's pitiful trying to get anything done.
How about you mind if I get his number for you? I'll just do that. Josh will be nice enough. I'm going to put you on hold, Todd, and I'll have Rick get your phone number, and then Josh is a busy guy, but I'll make sure that he has that number, and then maybe he can call you back and try to put you in touch with the person that can help you. How about that? That's one of the benefits of calling this show and getting on with Josh. We'll do that. So I'll put you on hold, Todd, and just pass the number on to Rick. He's on line 2, Rick, and we'll get that to Josh, and we'll see if we can help you on that. How about that? Let's take a break on that note. We got more calls, and Dean and others, stay there. The line's open, 737-7587, and thanks for taking his number. We'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. We'll be right back with more right after this.
The storm